very, very soon. Now, there's a story I want us to talk about. NPA is doing marvelous. Edudi Tamaklo is doing marvelous. Marvelous communicator, marvelous work that he's doing at NPA. He has a little bit of work to do, and we all know the institution there, you definitely meet challenges. And I know so far he has been exceptional. Edudi Tamaklo. Now, there's something going on I want us to speak about. And Nipebi, there's an agenda going on. And we need to start speaking on these things because sa agenda no say yankele sa agenda na Nipebi omo energy sector conversation no omo create some click bia. They want to run down every single work the NPA boss does. Now, NPA raises February price floors as OMC adjust price pump prices. Oh yeah, obi bia a friend no price floors, and so mana is basic amawa. Yawo ebo bia sa ebo no eno na aban ede to ho or making sure say at least sa ebo no OMC and oil marketing companies ni nyina be di sa ebo no so. Now there's a reason tia aban sa de no. Now, mama read this story na me show bibi me wi na ma kire ade bia nipa bi ye. Now, when you read the story, this is what it says. The National Petroleum Authority, NPA, has issued a new directive for the first pricing window of February 2026, effectively raising the minimum price levels at which petroleum products can be sold. Covering the period from February 1st to February 15, the directive mandates that no oil marketing company, that's the OMC, or LPG marketing company, LPGMC, may sell below these approved floors to prevent price undercutting and promote market stability. The new pricing thresholds. For the current window, the NPA has set the price floor for petrol at 9.99. That is 9 cedis 99 pesos per liter, and an increase from the previous 9.80. That's 9 cedis 80 pesos. This represents an increase of approximately 1.94. Now, NPA at the announcement I bet was say the first window in 2026, which is February, normally no fuel for and petrol for no windows on 15 days, technically 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks biano salary adjust prices, whether it goes down or it goes up. 2 weeks and the adjustment. Now, NPA the abet was say a friend of price floors no, and then increasing 1.94%. It's petrol no say base price no your turn 9 cedis 99 pesos. That is the standard they have set. So any friend of what we call price floors. Now, the reason why we have price floors is simple. Also recently, you say an OMC led by one guy, Star or something like that. They were telling the government to say, Abain, why is the government not still lowering the price floors? Meaning, Abain and turn lower than Abain is selling it. Because they are saying, say, when you go to the world market, fuel prices above form, into identity Abain and drop it fuel. Normally, when fuel prices go down, normally the country, and I said the NPA, and now are buying petrol bono above form marginally or reasonably. Now, every country has its laws. Your BBI friend price floors. The reason is that you just saw a bono to wa. Say, a bank has a petrol a ton 9 cedis 99 pesos. The reason why a bank has say, one, the moment you go below that, what happens in say, you allow people from other places to start coming in and do what? And smuggling your fuel out. Say, imagine, say, Ghana fuel and say NPA, moving it from 9.99. Now, Abia Ivory Coast, price floor, no, maybe what 10 cedis 20 pesos. Now, Ivory Coast, for who say, you movie your price floor, no, from 9.99 at about 7.98. What is going to happen? And they say, Togo for the Ivory Coast for no, they are going to enter Ghana and they are going to start smuggling fuel from Ghana. Now, the moment they start to smuggle fuel from Ghana, it automatically will hike the price of fuel in Ghana. Until when the government does that, what the government does is they say, when they put the price floors down, it is to protect the local market. Now, when some OMCs and now oil marketing companies, big bass say, your prices, you bet to lower than the government price. There are two things that happens. One, either says a company, they are taking their fuel from an illegitimate source. And secondly, Sa company no ebia fuel no de ba no enye as high quality as the fuel the government is selling. And this OMC bi no ka say aban say 999 no ya on santimbra form because sa OMC na tia ba 8. There are two things. The government cannot go into the outside market and buy cheap fuel. Secondly, the government cannot buy illegal fuel. Inti say OMC bi koto illegal fuel. Let me tell you. There are some OMCs omo craft fuel every Russia. Na omo mix fuel no. Omo mixing it to some level, some quantity bia. And yes sir, and say the quality of fuel e Ghana. Into those OMCs no, auto a year one, my explain man here basic in show. Oh, ships na the fuel Lebanon. You see the advantage we have as a nation when we have an oil refinery. Now, when you bring one ship, unrefined oil guma on petrol guma, sa ship no say 100,000 liters and now 1 million liters no ship ni more. The moment I remember Tema port, abe refine sa oil no, it will turn into 4 ships. Do you understand? And nuntina, it is very necessary say it was so your refinery. Now, the advantage of you having your refinery in the say, so what the one ship crabba crude more. What is going to happen is say, you get about 7 products out of that one ship. So you end up getting like 4 ships. Now, so one gets our refinery. What happens in the say? Majority of the ship now, diesel, petrol, they are already refined fuel. Into under MPP, what they were doing in the say, they didn't want Tema oil refinery to work because sa petroleum refinery near refinery that into a buy na sa and done it into 4 ships and done it just one. The money goes directly into some people's pockets. Now, the more they keep it that way, it means to say every time there's refined fuel, diesel, ebedru Ghana, they are not supposed to basically go and refine it for it to turn into 4 ships. I want you to make it basic. Here, say Tema oil refinery. So or refine it 1 ship, maybe 1 million metric tons of diesel. We are obeying 4 ships. Yeah. Say Tema oil refinery. Into any 2 oil. Not Tema oil refinery. Refine 1 container. Sa container or refiner obeying petrol. Obenya diesel, obenya kerosene, obenya other things. At the end of the day, the government makes so much money. Now, money ba they knew say when it happens that way, the money is going to go directly to the government because at the end of the day, the government is going to refine its own oil. So now, they cut that part of refinery. What they did was they went outside, bought already refined oil, brought it in, and then they turned Tema oil refinery into a tank farm. Into the oil don't refine in the bar. Straightforward, they put it in the tanks and they sell and the money comes directly to them. But if a government wants to protect a country, what the government does is say, or the onwangas oil refinery, no, or to me 2 oil container barco, now I done it 4 containers. What is going to happen is say, Ebema when you fuel cheap in Ghana. So the fuel you are getting cheap in Ghana is not because John Mahama is doing something magical. He's being sensible. In a sense to say, he is not importing refined oil. John Mahama is relying on the little oil here now, and then refining it. It gives us about 4, 5 to 6 products. Into Tema oil refinery, refining oil in now. They are not just getting petrol; they are getting diesel. They are getting kerosene. They are getting another type of crude. Into 1 container now, Tema oil refinery, they make about 4 containers. Into when this goes on for a long time, that's a Tema oil refinery, be the capacity and refining more oil, we will still see fuel going down because now the government has other products that it can sell to come and do what? Come and cover up the costs now. And it is a converter petrol, a liter for 13 Ghana. The government, because it is refining its oil and getting other kinds of oil, it can sell those ones to do what? To come and cover that kanan kebabeda also. It is like 3 cities. And about that 9 cities in the soa. Sa 3 cities no. A buying ton petrol or ton kerosene or ton diakana na a casade on a buying able to be a sassy ship into you, the customer, no, and now you, the citizen, pressure now so. And that is what the government is doing now. And it's now, since said John Mahama about power, Tema oil refinery started here, Jumano. Sa refined oil, no, yam fan babium. Because all the refined oil back Ghana, aban boka. You know why? Because nipa na odi refined oil no beba no. Oba ya na odi begu ka wakoton. The government makes no money. But some government started or refining on one oil. What happens? And then they say government refining one ship, it tanks into 4 ships because sa oil no and nane edani bebre. Now we nya other things wom. And then the government of the day is able to manage yet the fuel prices at this point. Now, when the MPA says they say yento petrol at a certain what we call price floors the NPA and the government are protecting the consumer. Now, say OMC Banoka say they are going to sell less than the government prices are. What the OMC is doing 2 things: either send the petrol or the bano or smuggle. And now 2, the quality of the petrol and yet to that standard of a buying no. And it's not a buying cannot lower what we call the price floors. The government has to stay at a certain level. The neighboring countries will not start smuggling its diesel, its petrol. Because the moment your petrol no ever go all the way down to maybe 1 liter is to 6 Ghana, 20 pesos. No? Togo, Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, they will all troop in. Now what they are going to do is Ghanaians are now going to sell to them because Omega say, oh, and they say 6 cedi, meton 8. Now you see people smuggling petrol out of the nation. And the government also needs to be looking at its neighbors, how the price goes, so that it can also map its price to the point where it does not affect its energy market and I say fuel market. Until you cannot just say I buy the price floors. No. In the South corner I buy so he basically knows where he's getting his diesel from. He knows where he's getting his petrol from. He knows that baby on your free but a bank wants to protect you. Now, is this not a good idea? This is what is happening. There are some people in the industry, right? Team. Stay with me. There are some people in the industry. They want to find a problem with it. And a typical example is this guy called Duncan. Yeah? Since Edudi Tamaklo became the CEO of NPA, this guy has never seen anything good about what Edudi Tamaklo does every day. And these are the people criminal businessmen and politicians use to distract a government. Now, suddenly, price floor needless in a deregulated environment, COPEC. NPA for the price buy, that price is to protect we the consumers. Quickly, this guy called Duncan is out. Oh, it is needless. Why is it needless? Now, when you read the story, or see, the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, has criticized the National Petroleum Authority's increase in price floors for the first pricing window in February. Executive Secretary of COPEC, Duncan Amwa, in a City Business News interview, said the adjustment does not inure to the benefit of consumers, especially as oil marketing companies begin revising pump prices. He urges that the price floor determines the deregulation framework of the downstream petroleum sector. And I quote, as of this morning, one of the major companies, Goil, clearly is selling on the floor that the MPA has set. You and I are aware that normally you have other companies wanting to go below that. No, if those other companies want to go below that, they know where they get their fuel from. So if you listen to him carefully, he's basically doing PRO for companies that basically are making their direct money. What Duncan is doing, and they say, every time the government sets a price, a standard price for us to buy, for the government to be able to basically keep fuel prices down, there are some OMCs petrol. There's majority of OMCs were Ghana, almost some petrol free Russia. Ya frame, frame Dubai. Na dia fa hodo dia ba. Because petrol frame na papa ninti, they force us. They now use these guys like Duncan them to force the system to lower the prices. No, it doesn't work like that. Because at the end of the day, even with one Ghana city levy on petrol, we are still buying petrol at $9.99. So why should anybody in Ghana say we should still bring the prices down? Unless the person who is trying to compete the government is bringing in illegal fuel. Unless the person is buying fuel that is not legitimate. And no quantity of say, other than menkwa as an OMC mateso, how many OMCs NS selling below the price of Goil? It is only one. And that person who is selling below the price of oil, where does he get his fuel from? Mumbusan so the petrol free. Mumbusan said the petrol not free. These are people who are using these boys to derail the government from doing what is right. We are not going to go by your people, your OMCs, their illegal petrol. We are going to go by what the government knows and believes to say Ghana for. 9.99 is enough. We are even paying one cedi on every petrol, but we are even so technically. Sanka 1 cedi nikwa niwa, 1 cedi levy niwa, and it means we are selling petrol at 8.99. So who in their right senses will come and sit on TV and say the system no because some OMC is selling now OMC na go to 4 petrol tantan bi tonwa. Why should the government also follow suit? The OMC does not decide for the government. The government, it has people to protect. Our main way is to protect we the citizenry, the customers. Our interest is the government's interest. So the government needs to do everything possible to protect us in the long term. The government's protection is not a short term. It is not profit driven. The idea. The OMC now on what is below 9.99. On the idea so benye sika koto petrol from free Russia. Now what frame no abaton, but the government's interest in the long-term idea no is to protect the consumer for a long term. And the government is looking out for the consumer and also protecting that fuel, that product in a system. Because the moment you lower it more than where it is now, lower than where it is now, what is going to happen is smuggling will go up. They are going to get people who are going to now determine the price of fuel in Ghana. So a time will come, fuel in Ghana, there will be smugglers who will be determining the price of fuel in the market. And that is why these prices are very important for government to regulate. Akwawe, he just wants to make sure, say, Ejudi Tamaklo and the MPA, because from the beginning, there were some businessmen who were lobbying for him to become MPA boss. This guy, Dankanamwa. And John Mahama did not hand that MPA job to him. And the agenda is that let us frustrate MPA boss. Let us see everything wrong with whatever he does, whatever they do, whatever they bring out. That is why Dankanamwa is doing this. A pure political. A businessman being a shenechi. And I'm going to destroy every single thing the NPA boss is doing. That is what they are doing. Mokai said time appointment in the start, this guy was on social media thanking people. Thank you very much for accepting. And for the fake news system, he generated it. He and his business partners, his corrupt business criminals, they decided to put that in the system. They were trying to pull strings for this guy to become the boss of NPA. But John Mahama is an experienced politician. He is not looking out for hungry dogs who think that they can take advantage of everything. So after he did not get that position, he set out an agenda to go after whoever would take that position. And that is what he's doing to the NPA. Anything that he has an issue with every single thing the National Petroleum Authority does. This guy. Yeah, Jinem.
And your statement is fallacy of argumentum ad hominem. Who's the uncle school?
Okay, French.
Fallacy of Latin. Fallacy of argumentum ad hominem. It's simple terms. The statement is a fallacy.
Wow.
Fallacious. And your statement is fallacy of argumentum ad hominem. Who's the uncle school?
Okay, French.
Fallacy of Latin. Fallacy of argumentum ad hominem. It's simple terms. The statement is a fallacy.
Wow.
Fallacious. And your statement is fallacy of argumentum ad hominem. Who's the uncle school?
Hey, school yati. Hey, dump him. No. Yenim so wako school. School de wako bi. Fallacy of argumentum. Yenim so wako school de wako bi. Now school and paper Jimmy. Dump him so mini padu no. Me am say munim say naturally me pe. Munim say naturally me pe. Dump him. Kennedy me penase mo. Ai, ba me tunu for onte. Kennedy onte futu. Kennedy onte futu ti. Ba me penase rough. Dump him. You see, I'm not in position. Yes, you can be a company. Me no be in your appointment. Yes, why you demand your president. Yes, why you do my it dump him. The fallacy of our argument at omen and we will concentrate. I send dump him no. Now, this brings us to a year and the conversation, and it's about NPP primaries. Now, Mahamudu Bawumia won the NPP primaries with 56.56. Let me tell you, the honest truth is Mahamudu Bawumia won with 56.8. Mahamudu Bawumia, he won with 56.8. Now, let me tell you people, when I posted this figure, and come to me at 56.3, come to me at 56.4, I could have said 56.5, I could have said 56.6, 56.9, 56.7.8, but I stayed at 56.8. There was a reason why I stayed at 56.8. So ask yourself, why is it say all the numbers that people were throwing around? Why didn't I say 56.1, 56.2, 56.3, 4? Why didn't I say 56.5? Why did I choose 56.8? I chose 56.8 because that was the number, or that is the number Mahamudu Bawumia is supposed to get, and he got it. I didn't just say the number. I just didn't come here to tell you, say, Bawumia benya 56.8. I told you what we did, the job we did. In fact, in my presentation, I made it clear to Ghanaians, say, Mahamudu Bawumia benya 56.8. Mahamudu Bawumia benya 56.8 now. Kennedy will get 40%, 40.3. Now, and Misaka said, the three now makana omenya 2.9. When I was on the show that day, I told you Kennedy is dropping numbers. Even in fact, that night I told you from what we are seeing and the shift in the scale and the way they are pumping money into the system, Kennedy Japan will be losing numbers because Mahamudu Bawumia is pumping money. Mesaka Omishon said Bawumia was not going to cross 56.8. I was very emphatic about that. Because when we did our polls and did our research, Mahamudu Bawumia was never going to cross 56.8. And we did our work and we knew what we were talking about. Now, along the way, even before the polls closed, in fact, my team posted on our page, say, Kennedy Japan at a point had dropped to 32%. Because we still saw the decline in Kennedy's numbers. We still saw, say, Kennedy Japan was losing the numbers. And it was simple. When you add, team, do this for me. When you add Kennedy Japan's numbers he got, that is 23 or something, to Brandy Champon's number, you end up at the 40.3 I talked about, plus 3 minus 3. Team, get me the exact number. So add it. Make a choice about Bawumia 56.8. Exactly. Make a say he cannot cross it. Add a manga 54. Add a manga say 56.5. Manga say 56.3. Manga say 56.9. But Mekacho say 56.8. He cannot cross 56.8 because the kind of work we did on Bawumia and the MPP primaries, Bawumia can never cross that. And I made you understand, say, Kennedy will get 40.3. Now, at the end of the day, Kennedy airdrop it by 23. And you came to post on our page. Mr. S, if you can get me that post and the time you posted it, I'll be very happy. I want people to understand what we did. Along the way, we posted, the voting was ongoing, and we said, say, Kennedy was dropping votes. He had dropped to 32. Now, so calculate Kennedy Japan numbers. Now, calculate Brady Champion numbers. Now, Kamboma, it is around 40. Now, let me show you what changed. Kennedy Japan, business. Thank you. These are the EC numbers, right? Okay. My team said, Memphis EC numbers. Let me put the EC numbers on it. These are the numbers from the EC. Let me put this one up here. So, EC numbers in here, 56.48. Now, I know for a fact, the NPP decided not to give Bawumia 56.8 because of me. Samira Bawumia and Bawumia them made sure that their numbers do not get to 56.8. They can drop it anyhow, but it should not be the 56.8 I said. These are the numbers from EC, 56.4. Now, Canada Japan, enya 23.7, 18.53 against Brady Champon. Now, when you add 23.76 and 18.53 plus 3 minus 3, give me the final figure of a year. Because before that, I just say, let me show you. I'd already showed you this. Mr. Kennedy Benya then 40.3. Team. All right, thank you very much for bringing this in. Thank you very much. Me team and I want you people to see something. Because 2 days to the elections, 2 days. We posted. Baumia insisted, say they should not give him 56.8. They should drop it a little bit. I know, because he felt to say, why should Kevin Taylor predict my number for me to get that number? But I control his spam. His spam count, I control it. So he cannot do anything about it. Now, let me show you this. 2 days ago, this is what we posted before the elections. Data show we saw there 2 days ago. Kennedy's front collapsed last minute. In fact, let me put this first. This is what we posted during the elections. Yatrobi be 2 days ago, before the elections. Echo off no, and that's movie no. Kennedy's front collapsed last minute with Brian eating into his numbers while Baumia held his ground. He now lingers around 32%. That was halfway the voting. Kennedy's numbers were dropping, with Baumia emerging as ultimate winner. The connected camp could not match up to the violated camp. There's some, but I wanted you to know that we made you understand, say, Kennedy's numbers were dropping. Now, when you add Kennedy's numbers, Kennedy and Brian Champon, oka number ni boma. When you add Kennedy number no, and Brian Champon number now, what do you get? Now, I'm going to tell you what actually happened. Emma Kennedy Japan, Eluzi, all these numbers. See, Brian Champon, when you add Kennedy and Brian Champon's numbers, you get 42.29 plus 3 minus 3. It means it still falls within Kennedy Japan's numbers. So add the Brian Champon number, any Kennedy Japan number, you get 42.29 plus 3 minus 3. And that was our formula. It means it still falls in Kennedy Japan's numbers. Now, what happened was that on the day of elections, Nipa Bebriana almost trying Kennedy Japan to give them money, because this elections, it was money driven. When we did our research, majority of Yesika Nina Eko Baumiaso. So we were very confident of Baumia's numbers. We knew what Baumia was going to get. It did not matter. We knew Baumia was going to end up at 56.8. We knew he wasn't going to go up. He wasn't going to go down. He was going to stay there. And he could never get to 57. We knew for a fact Baumia was never going to get to 57. So whoever predicted 57 was wasting their time, because Baumia was never going to get there. That is why we were emphatic about the number. I could have said 57. I could have said 59. I could have said 56. I could have said 55. I could have said 52. But I was specific. And I just didn't say 56. So I said 56.8. The 8 was very important because when we did our work, we knew that there was going to be an 8 there. What happened on election day was that Kennedy Japan felt to say, Kennedy basically was sharing hampers. The delegates, they did not care about Kennedy Japan hampers and omoche. They were waiting for physical money on election day. Now that is where Kennedy got it wrong. Brian Champon kept a lot of money for election day. Inti omo Kennedy Japan. So we study videos and now what system no nyina. The obetian say Brian Champon coordinator and say sikani nyambedru. Brian Champon coordinator and says Sikana ba one ye. Brian Champon. But you never heard people say it's a Kennedy Sikani bedru, because Kennedy thought to say, sir, hampers now the cheche omono. It was going to take them through the election day. No. Majority of Omo and Omunye ready so beto Kennedy no. Brian Champon strategically intervened. Into Brian Champon during the election day, he started paying. So now, so be person beto ba omia. Now the Canada Japan are disappointed on election day. Now what he has to do is to fall on Brian Champon's money. Into majority of Canada Japan's followers now they were expecting Kennedy to just drop something for them. Kennedy failed, They basically took Brian Champon's money and said, "Metwama ba omia de bedema Kennedy, and bedema Brian Champon." Make Kennedy ni supporter. Kennedy and Fosikana, we are all influenced by money. We are here because of the money. It is a Metwama Bawumia. I know he cannot win 2028 there. Then I would rather give it to Brian Champon. And you saw the shift. Brian Champon on your superpower in the election zone. Brian Champon was tactical in how he spent his money on election day. So Brian Champon made money ready the day of elections. Canada Japan made a mistake. He lost focus. Matisse, people are arguing, say, because of Canada Japan, Koka say, Bawumia is a liar. But Canada Japan has always stood by Bawumia being a liar. On changing, there's no difference from, but Kennedy has been saying that in all his campaign, he had made people understand that Brian and Bawumia and Kanokre. So it wasn't that video Kennedy did. That video did not make any impact. The impact was on election day. Brian Champon capitalized on Canada Japan's absence, paid money, and he got a lot of his vote. So the numbers Brian Champon got, he tapped it from Kennedy's numbers. And Nitina, or no Brian Champon Krano, he was surprised the number of votes he got. So at a point, you saw, say, it was getting late. That is when they started calling Kennedy Japan's son, say, he should release the money. Because you see, they were holding on to the money, thinking, say, the dad has campaigned so much, the people now have taken, they have absorbed the dad's money message and that they will vote. They didn't know, say, you needed to put icing on the cake. Because MPP delegates, it does not matter how they love you, they will take money. It's a party principle behind him. It does not matter the language, the message, it does not matter. They will still take your money. Apart from Senator Kennedy, they were still waiting for money on election day. And you saw a video of Kennedy Japan's son. Now your man instructions say, release the money. He didn't understand.
Okay, all right, I'm coming. Let me call him. Because the last time, let me call him now. Because last time when I spoke to Coleman, he said he gave somebody 1,000 and he had 90,000. I'm like, what? Like everybody's 100. You can't lie that. Yes, sir. I'm doing it right now, sir. I'm doing it right now. Yes, sir.
Hey guys, come back to you.
Okay, all right, I'm coming. Let me call him. Because the last time, let me call him now. Because last time when I spoke to Coleman, he said he gave somebody 1,000 and he had 90,000. I'm like, what? Like everybody's 100. You can't lie that. Yes, sir. I'm doing it right now, sir. I'm doing it right now. Yes, sir.
Hey guys, come back to you.
So when the money came in, it was late. They were calling the Ashanti region, we are losing grounds. People are waiting for the money. The money is not coming. The icing on the cake is not here. And Brian Champon capitalized on it. So on election day, Brian Champon made money available. Brian, throughout his campaign, didn't spend money. All that he was doing is, he would prepare nice lunch for them. He would go and talk nicely. And his killer punch was, election day, I'll pump all the money in. And that is how he was able to enter Kennedy's numbers. So Brian is not any super force in NPP. Majority of the people who voted for Brian, they didn't vote for Brian. They didn't vote for Brian because they think Brian is exceptional. No, they voted for Brian because he was the one who came in to put the icing on the cake. It was his money that gave him the 18%. That 18% was Kennedy Japan's vote. So when people sit on TV and make analysis like Kennedy Japan because of the video he did, from the day Kennedy contested Bawumia from 2023, he had always said that Bawumia is a liar. That video was nothing new. It was nothing new. It did not really make any difference. So you cannot tell me, say, Kennedy, one video, all the people who wanted to vote for him, no. Child 36 was a 30 and then 23. No, it was the money influence. And then the church said the MPP, Bawumia, let me tell you, Bawumia started paying from day one. We knew, we followed Bawumia's money. Bawumia started paying. So you saw what Bawumia Dems did. They were able to pick their people. They know that when enough had gone to them, so they were relaxed. Omunim say enyako anticipate they will get their number. So on election day, Bawumia and any team, no, they had already paid so much, they had spent so much. Bawumia 2 days to the elections, Bawumia was paying 3,000 per person, and he knew if he's able to put those monies in the pockets of people, they will vote for him. And into your plotty adiano, when we did all our checks, we said Mahamudu Bawumia was going to get 56.8. We didn't say 56.7. We didn't say 56.9. We didn't say 57. We said 56.8. And at the end of the elections, we all saw Mahamudu Bawumia told them that they should make it 56.4. For them to make it 56.6. For 8 for Kevin to control the MPP, their own penny. This is their number. And the real numbers, are 56.8. And let me tell you people something. I did this not because me away because I wanted to send a message to the NDC. I wanted NDC to understand that to win power is not easy. And I did this to prove a point to Samira Bawumia. And Samira, I didn't want to say this. Me keep you at the same way for some time now. Samira Bawumia, listen. So you say me woma e dey say wa. Unim say me wo yire a wo so wo kunu. And let me tell you, I will not forgive you. And you know what I'm talking about. I will never forgive you. You are diabolic. You are dangerous. But I will also take my revenge. I will never forgive you. And your husband needs to ask you what you have done to me that I am saying I will never forgive you. The reason why I will make sure your husband never becomes president is because of what you know you have done. I swear to God, on my last breath, I will never forgive you. And you know what you have done, including those 2 NPP MPs. You know. I have kids I love. I want to see my kids grow. I want to see my wife, myself grow. The same way you want to see your kids. Omano, you want to see them grow and see your husband grow. I swear to God, I will never forgive you. And I have kept this for a long time. I never spoke about it. But today, I wanted to wait for your husband to be elected as the flag bearer. And I'm saying this because I want your husband to ask you. You are very dangerous and diabolic. You have done your part. It is time for me to do my part. I don't talk that much. But one of the most dangerous people on this planet in Ghana politics, Samira Bawumia. Oninikunus Bawumia, they are dangerous people. And Samira has made Bawumia a devil. We're done into a devil. All because of power. But I swear on my life, I will never forgive you. Because what you did, you knew what you wanted. And you know I know. Mashada na man can want some till now. Meshada, I didn't say anything. I kept quiet. You and the 2 MPs in Parliament, NPP MPs, you know. But I will also take my revenge. Maybe you might not survive it. You know what you did. And I know what you did. And you know I know. Sibia odo enchine idimokodi nchine we need jeno. You want to live for a long time the same way I also want to live for a long time. I don't talk too much. I don't hold personal grudges against people. But say odo was me and I'm telling you today, I will never forgive you. Because I want to take care of my kids till they grow. The same way you also want to do that. So today I'm sending you that message. I am doing this because of what you have done. And you will cause your husband a lot of mess. You will cause Bawumia a lot of pain. And I'll see to that. Because me Menya baby am family 9 CNG ya. You would have taken what I cherish. So me, I'm telling you, you are a very diabolic woman, a very dangerous woman. Everything that comes before you, you want to clear it. And you be clear. You are a very dangerous woman. You are a very dangerous woman. Say Bawumia ni moba or that sorry and Kobe very careful. But you have also poisoned him. So he knows what you can do. But I'm telling you, you will not get away with this. With me, you won't. I will retaliate. Mashada, I'm holding on to this till the election was over. I will also retaliate and be ready. Protect everything that you cherish. Protect every single thing that you cherish. Everything. Because I did my best to protect everything I cherish. That's why I'm still here. So you also have to protect everything you cherish. Utrimu nya dinche obiao. Utrimu enya dinche obiao. Eye tumi keke. If it is not for you, it is not for you. All right.
The NPP cannot be underestimated. You know it, I know it. They've been in existence for a long time and have been changing their names up till this day. The nature of who they are. Listen. Munjir. The nature of who they are, what they are, where they've come from, is something they are happy with, and they will be there for a long time. Let's not mimic their behavior. Let us reach into the principles and the values that emerged out of the circumstances that gave birth to us. And if we can hold onto those principles and those values, we will move way into the future and no one can ever defeat us.
We will ride and override. Now, Yadawujina Eye Assembly, so Eye Mahmoud Bawumia win in ya we winnie as NPP flag bearer. Now, let me say this. The NPP were a new strategy after Omuyi Bawumia. And the question here is, what is new about Bawumia? So we check about Bawumia Ediwini primaries where. Let me tell you for a fact, I don't hold anything against Bawumia. I don't hate him. I've not even seen Bawumia physically with my eyes before. So I don't know how he looks like. I've seen him through glasses, videos, TVs. I have not personally seen Bawumia that he's walking. So I have nothing personal against him. But I want Ghanaians to understand, if a political party elects a flag bearer, now flag bearer, no, about half, in fact, half of the parties can say, he is not somebody we can rely on. He cannot govern. He is not a leader. Why should we as a nation, come together and still give power to that person? This election, half of the NPP, Ekachere Ghana for say, they don't think Bawumia deserves to lead, you know. It should send a message to all of us. The party that is giving us a candidate, a leader, to lead us, you know, Sa party ni kachere say yemumu half yampeneso. That is the message the NPP gave us yesterday. Party ni mu half say yampeneso. We no yewuni say obetumi adi enim mpo abedi Ghana enim. So this win, this 56.8 he got, it should tell every Ghanaian say NPP ni cross a political party no omo nyina no uche mu mienu a half so omo mpe Bawumia. That should be the basic conversation. NPP half for someone pe Bawumia. Now, see, So Bawumia delegates no 2023 no we 200,000. 2026 delegates number 211,000. Bawumia dropped from 61% all the way to 56%. In any day, the government appointees ebeka, which every single government appointee is basically affiliated to Bawumia, because one way or the other, they were working for him as their boss. Into all the people that they added to the register, past appointees, past MPs, they were all coming in to support Bawumia or to vote for Bawumia. And still, when the register was opened and then the number got to 211,000, Bawumia still could not climb from 61%. Half of the party just told us that still we don't want him. Now, do a little bit of math here. This is just delegates. And remember, with delegates, you can manipulate, you can target, you can use money to influence. Easy, because you know the number, you know location, you know where everybody belongs. So with delegates, you can sit and plot a map and say, Ashanti region, Nipa 16,000, me 100,000 Ghana, Metuma Mobia say. You can do it. Now, imagine if we are having 211,000 people. Not the 211,000 people, no, half said, no, we don't agree. We believe, said, this guy is not supposed to lead us. If they had voted as a party, imagine, say, MPP Nibia and a 2B. And now, Obiatoya, remember, from 61 to 56, 5 percentage points, and Oluzie. Even though the past appointees, past MPs, CEOs, 211,000, he still dropped 5 percentage points. Now imagine, say, Senka enya delegates nkwa, and you can say Obia or what MPP card bia was going to be part of the election, and Bawumia would have dropped about 20 percentage points. It is serious. This 56.6 or 56.8 or 56. It should tell every Ghanaian, say, the party as MPP, they have no faith in Bawumia. They don't believe in Bawumia. They don't see him as somebody who is credible enough to basically lead Ghana, even lead them in the first place, than to lead Ghana. If you are a Ghanaian and you are watching this, you first ask yourself, say, in MPP for Hampono, there are over 200,000, 100,000 delegates who don't like Bawumia. They are like Yempeno.